Close your eyes for a second. Imagine the room you're in right now, but darker, colder, quieter. No hum of a fridge, no glow from a screen. For billions, this isn't imagination, it's reality. This is energy poverty. It locks away potential in hospitals, classrooms, homes. In 2023, 4.8 million children under 5 died from preventable causes linked to this darkness. That is the true cost of the locked door. It's a problem with 3 locks: the lock of no access, the lock of unaffordability, and the lock of unreliability. Canada looks at this door and often thinks it has the key. Our vast reserves of liquefied natural gas, LNG, produced to some of the highest standards in the world. But what if we've been looking at the lock and the key all wrong? What if the solution isn't a better key, but a better locksmith? I used to think that this was a predominantly somewhere else problem. But it's here, in Canada. In over 200 remote and Indigenous communities, especially in the Arctic, diesel dependency is a lock, limiting them to expensive, polluting, and unreliable sources of energy. For decades, we tried the obvious key: deliver the fuel, ship the diesel. But that doesn't open the door. It only changes who holds the key. It creates the same dependency lock that, as we saw in Ukraine, makes nations vulnerable. Thus, we should stop asking, what key can we make, and replace it with, how do we redesign the lock itself? Let's look at a successful example in the north. In Iqaluit, an Inuit-led project isn't shipping a new fuel. It's forging a new system entirely, one that will displace 15 million liters of diesel a year, driven by local Inuit solutions, replacing the former aging and inefficient diesel generators. In other communities, solar and hydro projects are finally being built after decades of planning. This is Canada's first lesson. The key is not the molecule, it's a model of community-led design, clean tech integration, and patient investment in integrated community energy solution. It's not a product we ship, it's the knowledge we build, and this Canadian model doesn't just impact us. It's the master blueprint the world is already using. Take Mozambique. 6 years ago, 2/3 of the country was in the dark. Today, access has nearly doubled. How? They didn't just buy a master key. They deployed an integrated toolkit. They used a blueprint that blended grid power with off-grid solar, utilizing natural resources unique to the region. They introduced financial lockpicks like zero connection fees. They prioritize schools and clinics, so energy doesn't just power a light bulb, it powers a future. Or look across Western Africa. Countries aren't building their own locks and keys. They're architecting a shared nervous system, a regional power pool that trades clean energy and slashes costs by over 20%. And here's the pattern. From the tundra to the tropics, the world's most effective solutions aren't about finding a bigger, shinier key in the form of a fuel source. They started with a question: what does this community need to thrive? Then they integrated finance, technology, and local leadership into a single, resilient plan. That is true craftsmanship. So, back to our door. Canada's 21st century advantage isn't in the ground, but in our minds and our hard-won experience. Our advantage is that we've been locksmiths in the toughest conditions. We've learned to design microgrids for the Arctic, building frameworks for true partnership with Indigenous communities. We've navigated the complex regulations to make it all work. That is our export. That is our gift. Not just liquefied natural gas, but liquefied knowledge. Not a shipment of fuel, but a shipment of know-how. The world doesn't need us to send a key they can't use. It needs us to send the locksmith. Our greatest resource was never the key in the ground. It was always the blueprint in our minds.